You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Paralympian Alpine skier Spencer Wood. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in the sport of alpine skiing?
Yeah, so starting off, I grew up in a ski town in Vermont. I I went to a preschool that was right at the base of Pico Mountain. So I was always around just snow, I guess. My parents met ski instructing at Killington. My grandparents on my dad's side met skiing at Killington. And then my other grandparents met pretty soon after it came to Killington, and then they had my mom and were coming to Killington. So I've always been in the Killington blood, and I knew as soon as I got on snow that it was going to be the right thing for me. And I raced on the able-bodied circuit from when I was a young kid until I was a senior in high school. And then after that, I went to Disabled Sports USA Hartford Skeet Spec in Breckenridge in 2014, and that's where I started off with my Paralympic career.
What was that like, obviously going to Colorado Boulder, and did you compete in skiing during your time as a student for Colorado?
So I was not part of their NCAA Division One program, but I did race in the Paralympic team when I was there. I was the only full-time Team USA student studying full-time there, and it was exhausting, but there was a lot of roadblocks. Having to communicate with my teachers, just make sure that I can leave for weeks at a time and still get all my work done and not leave any of my group mates when I had projects out dry. So just a lot of communication, office hours on the back end. And unfortunately, sometimes I had to sacrifice skiing as well. If I know I had a huge block of tests, I would show up late to a European trip or something. So I just needed to be really best foot forward for that.
How's that like, obviously getting to compete in the Disability US in 2014?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about disabled sports. Uh, I thought I was gonna crush it. I thought I was gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like I'm just the best, and I wasn't. There were people better than me. And in hindsight, it's the best thing that could have happened because it's what allowed me to come back into the sport with a much more level head and want to beat those people. So I'm glad that there are roadblocks along the way that I can continue to look back at myself and improve on it.
How was your experience like being a part of the Team USA and getting to try out for Team USA Paralympic?
Yeah, I mean, it's a spot you never think you're gonna find yourself in. I mean, kids do have Olympic goals, but they don't know they're gonna be there. And it just kind of it worked its way out one day. Thinking when I was at the disabled sports event just in Breckenridge in 2014, thinking it'd be cool just to get on this prospect team, this E team down the line. Like who would have thought? And then here I am on A team, two Paralympic games later. Like I never thought I'd be here, but I think I'm a firm believer in just like treating it a day at a time, and all those days are gonna add up to way more than you ever thought they could be. So don't waste a minute.
How's that like, obviously getting to compete on the World Championship level in 2019 and 2021?
Awesome. Main reason that we get to race on a lot of able-bodied circuits when you go to World Champs. So we went to a place in Italy, or we went to Kranjska Gora, Slovenia for slalom and GS, and that's an able-bodied race hill. It's got a really steep pitch. really aggressive skiing. And then again in this last year, we went to Lillehammer, where they held the Olympics. So, and that was for the downhill track, and that just felt like you're skiing on a piece of history, uh, and you really just want to bring it out full gas. And I mean, you get to the bottom, you're like, wow, I did this too. This is a real sport. We're here. We're doing it.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to ski on the same Olympic track that the Olympians ski on?
Um, I thought it was better for us than it was for them because when they skied it, they just had to go in dry run. I got to watch them ski it. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours watching the Super Gs and the downhill in Beijing. I was like, okay, this turn's gonna come up here. This is how this is gonna affect this. Gotta look at this pitch angle. How am I gonna want to roll over it? It was just like so cool to be able to study video of pro skiers or of Olympians that are it's gonna be the same hill that I'm going on. And when I got on there, I felt so safe, so controlled, and I felt like I just went full gas.
Of course, what was that feeling like when you made the Paralympic team for the first time in 2018?
I didn't think I was gonna get any better on C team. I was like, yeah, I'm here. I can't improve anymore. I did. I just kept showing up. So I just kept surprising myself, and I always thought there was a glass ceiling that it was never really there, and here I am at a point that I kind of know just to take every single day as a new opportunity to learn, keep the body guessing in the gym, and just stay positive.
How was that experience like the first time you got to put on your Paralympic gear and have Team USA on you?
Wearing the United States of America flag on my back was probably the coolest thing I've ever done, and representing that was it's an amazing feeling because you get into a group of people that have achieved so much and are so great, and I get to be associated with that. It's an amazing feeling. It's one of the greatest honors I've ever had.
What was that feeling like going to Pyeongchang to compete in 2018? And what was that feeling like when you made the Paralympic team for the second time to go to Beijing?
So the first time I went, I had been on the national team for a year. The national team, the C team that I was on was we were just doing domestic race in the United States, so North America Cups kind of stuff, like really small, not really seeing the World Cup. And then we went to Pyeongchang in the middle of the season. I've never skied, raced internationally. I've never skied with a camera stuck in my face at the start. I've never been warming up with somebody just looking at you from another country. Like that was a lot. Um, I wasn't the most mentally prepared, I think is what it all came down to. Because the mental preparation, right, is what takes care of all the physical prep. Because if you're saying I don't want to go to the gym today, you're not going to the gym today. But if you're every day saying I'm going to the gym, I'm getting on snow, I need to do my training, then your physical prep's going to fall in line. Um, so I was a little just behind on that part, but when I went to Beijing, I got in the start gate and I felt like a feral animal ready to attack. I was so ready. I was focused. I knew what I needed to do. I wasn't the nicest person, but that's why we're there, is to be individualists.
Of course, the first time you made the Paralympic team and you got to compete, what was that feeling like when you heard the start go off and you were going down the slopes?
I was distracted. In Pyeongchang, there were so many thoughts going through my head. I couldn't ski confidently. I knew I was there, but I didn't really know why I was there. Um, I think I just kind of filled a spot, whereas this time I earned a spot. I earned my way. I felt confident in all my turns and my focus. I was so present in the moment. Uh, it was just a completely 180 experience for me. But that's what they say is that your first games, you're overwhelmed by the show, and the second games you show up, and maybe even your third games you get on a podium.
Of course, what was that experience like after the your first Paralympics, training for your second Paralympics?
I didn't know what I wanted. The whole, like probably 2 years after the games, I was like, still gonna race, still gonna race. Yeah, I kind of want to race. I wasn't the biggest fan of our high performance at the director at the time. Who am I racing for? What am I racing for? And then he got let go the year before the games, and our whole team just kind of rebounded in this positive way. Like, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. This is who we're racing for. Skiing is fun. It's the main reason we're here is to go 75 miles an hour down the hill, having fun. So it was just nice to kind of have all of those values reinvested and come at from a new approach. And I felt way more in control going into this games.
What was that experience like getting to compete against some of those countries like Canada, Mexico, Argentina, and even Tokyo?
Uh, Great. Your first time with them, you treat them as competition, and then my most recent time with them, you're making jokes, sending each other memes on the chairlift, getting to know them and their personal lives, and now I have friends for life. It's way cooler.
What are some of your game day routines and rituals that you do before competing?
Yeah, light breakfast. I like to have yogurt, get some probiotics going. Try to feel as light as I can. Try to eat a lot of vegetables, drink a ton of water. Got to stay moving. My warm-up routine for the race is probably about 30 minutes from jacket on, cold, to in the gate, warmed up, fired, ready to go. Um, I would bring headphones up to the top of the hill, take my helmet off, put on a hat, headphones, and just find my own little corner of the start area and just tune everyone else out and focus in on what really mattered.
How does it feel to have Paralympian and PLY behind your last name?
It's amazing. I never thought that I would have an addition onto my name, and I mean, I feel like every single day I get a new email from Team USA of another great benefit that they're helping us out with, and every year they're trying to come up with something else to make us more respected and respect ourselves and hone in our craft a little more. So it's all a full circle kind of thing. It all comes back to empower the athlete.
What was that feeling like when you received your Paralympic rings, both rings, and you saw the Argon symbol on it?
Yeah, the rings are cool. The rings are definitely cool. I actually have them on display right over my shoulder. Uh, but I think it's a neat thing to be able to. I mean, you get a class ring, you get a Super Bowl ring, you get a World Series ring. Like, out of everything you could have, here's this little thing that fits on your finger that shows people that you're worthy of, that you put in the work, and you're worthy of that piece. And I mean, seeing your name on something, it's a really cool thing to show relatives and grandparents and stuff like that.
What does it mean for you to be an alpine skier?
I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but it's a sport that other people do on their vacations for fun.
How is that feeling like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
Yeah, so one time I flew into my home airport in Vermont, and I was loading up my ski bags. My mom was helping me, and this girl comes up. She's maybe a little younger than me. She said, "Are you Spencer Wood of the U.S. Paralympic Alpine Ski Team?" That doesn't really happen to me. I mean, I have 400 followers on Instagram. I'm not that popular. And my mom just broke down in tears immediately because for her, I, like, that's an amazing thing for her. But for me, like, she doesn't know how often I see that. And so for me, my favorite part was seeing my mom experience that joy, and that brought me tons of joy, tons of joy. So it was really cool.
What is that feeling like when you do get recognized and they ask for your autograph and you sign it and you add PLY behind it?
Yeah, I mean, we all got our little slice of heaven here. And I think just trying to live true to who you are and what you're capable of doing, it's just you're automatically going to put your best foot forward.
What were some of your favorite memories in these last two Paralympic?
All right, a funny one for you, Brandon. Uh, the beds in Beijing were hospital beds, like the way that a hospital bed would function. They're pretty comfortable. So the legs would come up and the the chest will come up as well. And so towards the end, when we're not racing anymore, we bet on each other's nerves the whole trip. We had spent weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks together. I thought it was a great idea. Put up the legs while they're not sleeping in it. Put up the chest. Paco the bed. Take the remote. Huck the remote. Take the batteries. Like get rid of the batteries. Unplug it from the wall so they can't release the bed back to flat. And it became this funny thing that just a little thing that had nothing to do with our sport, but it was a good way to like have a good laugh at the end of it. Yeah, that was probably a really funny thing at the end that just, just the little things.
How's that like obviously getting to compete with some of your teammates like Thomas Charles, Tyler, Tyler Carter, and even Andrew?
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, but Thomas and I we met the same day getting in the sport at the uh, at the event in Breckenridge in 2014. Very similar paths, growing up in ski towns, going to ski academies. So we've always been the two that have held each other the most accountable. Um, so it was amazing to see him win the silver because he had his ups and downs this season for sure. Um, he got the silver in the GS. Uh, and TC, I've known like a month after Thomas. I've known him the same amount of time. So that kid has worked really, really hard to get where he needed to be. And I mean, 3 games is a lot, and he is Team USA through and through, and he really believes in the brand and what they're trying to do. So it's really nice.
Who are some of the people that you look up to in the sport of alpine skiing?
Growing up, I loved Lindsey Vonn. I thought she was pretty. She was mean when she needed to be, and she got the job done.
Who are some of your idols and inspirations that have helped you in your skiing journey?
Mm, I'd say probably my teammates at school. When I was in high school, I went to a ski academy, went to school half day, skied half day, and my physical disability was enough that in races I was far behind them, and so all I wanted to do was be there next to them and be racing at the same rate that they were. And I was just trying to be like my friends as much as I could, and I really appreciate my outlook of doing that. But now I know that that's not the most helpful way of trying to improve yourself because if you're always comparing yourself to other people, that's the limit. Whereas you don't know where your limit could be if you only compare yourself to yourself.
What is the feeling like knowing that you had that Paralympic dream and you went after it and you achieved it?
Uh, we've yeah, looking for more. You're hungry for it. After this games, we got back and I wanted to get right back into it. I didn't want to take a break. I just wanted to be back into the first year of a quad. How can I improve for 4 more years? And because standing in that start of Beijing, I was so hyper focused and it felt so good that I definitely want to see how I can improve on that and get that feeling again.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of alpine skiing?
Going downhill. Yeah, just having fun. Just taking advantage of this time that I have while I'm on the team and traveling. Because I mean, with the other sports, they're a basketball team. They travel to Germany to go play basketball in a gym. I go to Switzerland to go ski on mountains and stay in little ski towns and eat fondue. Like it's just there are definitely differences between other sports on the circuit and what we were able to do with alpine skiing.
What advice would you give those people that are in college that are looking to compete in alpine ski?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the fun factor. Like if you can get in gates and you enjoy that sense of freedom and control and the fact it's a time sport, so you're racing the clock, you're racing yourself, you're only going to want to find ways off snow to improve that.
What advice would you give those Paralympians that are looking to compete for the first time or even multiple times like you have?
Just show up. Put your head down and show up because that's all it is you can be all talk, but until you actually do the work, nothing else matters.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah, my name is Spencer Wood, and it's Spencer.Wood underscore on Instagram. I think it's like Spencer Wood 17 on Twitter. Not really there, but yeah, give me a follow. I will definitely follow you back.
Thank you again, Spencer Wood, for your interview and best luck in your future in the sport of Paralympic alpine skiing.
Thanks, Brandon. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
talking with you today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Spencer Wood, for your interview and best of luck in your future.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.